Well, hello, Porch. How are you? I am Redrick Preacher, also known as Laney. I hope you like the filter, so if I bore you, you have something to look at. I hope it is slightly distracting, which is exactly kind of fun for me and you. So let's play along, have some joy here. Today, I'm going to touch a little bit on conscious parenting. It's very important that we become aware, conscious parents. The best work that we can do for our own kids is to heal our own shit, so we don't pass it on to them and they end up being just like us in the negative ways too, having the same blocks and blockages and then short-sighted mindsets in their life that we had to try to break apart in our own lives. So the best work you could do is to heal your own bullshit so you don't hand it off to your children unknowingly. And being a conscious parent is amazing because what you're doing is you're raising a conscious child. And a conscious child is a Christ-conscious child. They're listening to their inner house. That's called intuition. That's where God is. He's talking to you. It's not Morgan Freeman. It's not God. It's not Zeus. It's not a bearded guy. It sounds like you, but it's coming from here. It tells you not to eat that. Put that back. Don't steal the 20. Call your grandma. Take a left. It tells you what to do your whole life. Whether you listen or not is something we're trying to get you to heal and recognize now. What goes on right here in the middle of the chest is a slight little whisper. That little knowing. That hair on the back of your neck. The turn of your stomach. These are warning signs, an ADT system, if you will. And it's up to us as parents to know what this is and to make sure that while we're raising our kids and teaching them how to tie their shoes and clean up after themselves and account for their time and cook ramen noodles the right way, one of the things that we have to do for our kids is to teach them self-accountability and temperance, to have temperance in their life. And their own boundary system is something that kids set up. And one thing that we do as adults, and we've been doing this for generations because my parents did it to me, your parents did it to you, they suppress our boundaries. When you were a kid being raised, you're like, I have a voice. I'm a kid too. I'm a human being. But nobody gave a crap because you're a kid. You're a completely different sect all by yourself. Now you're diminished and unvaluable, and you're not going to be valuable till you grow up. And then when you grow up, you're like, damn, I'm still not being heard. Now you're just a big kid with car keys. Well, welcome to the club that I'm talking about. Get in here on the porch. So one of the things that I've seen with my own eyes, especially in my 9-year-old son, and which is he's learning from me talking to him, coaching and counseling and being his raising him. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Hi, John. So one of the things that my younger son requires me to do as a conscious mom is to teach him and show him this is what your boundaries look like. You have an ADT system. Listen to it. I also did a video on the porch this morning that was called the Waterline Check. Do check it out. This is a little bit on top of that. So I've taught my son to listen to yourself. When the two bigger kids that he has is a brother and sister, 13 and 11, and they're jumping off stuff and doing things, and he's 9, barely, it's not quite built for him to jump off 6 foot of rock, okay? And he's starting to understand, I need not follow, I need to listen. Nope, I'm not ready for that. And my youngest son has a timetable all his own. He will not allow you to rush him. And then you've got the two older kids who are like, oh, come on, it's not that big of a deal, peer pressure. They don't say it, but this is where you can interject, quit being a chicken, bark, 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 And so what that does is that makes that kid feel like they're inadequate for listening to themselves. Falling away to peer pressure. I need him to stand, not just submit. And that's an important quality he needs to have now as a man and as a gentleman going forth in his life and as a son of God. You got to learn to obey that, right? So here I am mothering him at 9 years old, and I watch these little boundary lines come up. For instance, I just watched in this past week all 3 of my kids playing in a pool. My youngest son, who's 9, is a little short stature. So he knows that the 3 and the 4 on the pool, he's got to stay in between that or he can't touch the bottom. His younger siblings obviously are taller than him and can go further down the pool to the 5 and do just fine. And so I watched them play in this pool. And when they came off the slide and landed in the water, my older son was trying to convince my younger son that it's okay over here. I know you're scared, but I got you, boo. Let me take you over here to the deep end a little bit. My youngest son, his ADT system is now going off. He doesn't want to. He's saying out loud, no. But now we have an older person who's smarter, older, and better and stronger, already treating them as if their voice doesn't matter. It's okay, you're younger. It's okay, you're smaller. What do you know? You haven't been there yet. It's okay, I've been there and it's fine, so come with me. That kind of mentality is not a good mentality to have. It's not okay for other people to navigate your path or to hurry you up to make you evolve faster than you're naturally evolving on your own. That's toxic. It's not going to end well. And it didn't in this case. My older son wrapped his arm underneath like this. He wrapped around my youngest son and picked him up like in the water and started swimming with him. Because he's going to take him anyway, right? It's fine. I got you. He's not listening to the boundary. My youngest son starts to freak out and kick his legs because he wants to find center. He wants to put his feet down on something solid and not be dragged around in the water. His little booty is heavy, so he's shaped like a V in the water. And what my oldest son doesn't know, as he's swimming and holding his brother, showing him that it's okay, what he doesn't see happening is what I see happening. He's actually waterboarding my youngest son, whose face is just above the water, and he's kicking, and it's splashing, and he's sucking. Oh my gosh, really bad. So I yell, get onto him, and I split them up and grab my son. And then, later on in the hotel, I then explained to both of them, especially my oldest, how important it is to respect people's no's. If they say no, they say no. And even as adults, when we say no, we say no. If somebody doesn't want you, or you as a friend, you as this, if they don't want you, then we just have to accept the no. You have to live and let be. You've got to let other people live their lives and go about their journey at their pace. Even though you love them and you've been there and you might think you know the outcome, it doesn't make it okay for you to reach in, grab them, and pull them along. He wasn't ready and he didn't enjoy the ride. He was completely uncomfortable. And at that point, I also taught my 9-year-old, look, buddy, you did a damn good job speaking from your ADT. That wasn't comfortable for you. So going down a heavy slide's not comfortable. When you're at a buffet and you're like, don't eat that. Listen, this will serve you well when you become a 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old man who's driving cars. It'll serve you well when you're dating other ladies and other daughters of God in the world. This is going to serve you well. You got to know your boundaries. So my youngest son is learning to apply his mouth, speaking out loud for that which is uncomfortable. And I think as adults, not being conscious, the best job we can do at teaching our kids to speak up for boundaries is don't touch my no-no square. That's all we give them. There's all these other boundaries that we as adults should respect too. We adults have always, in the generations behind me, they have taken this I own you approach, like children. My mother owned me. I belonged to her. You know what I mean? And I had to do what she said. So in a way, it was like a little bit for my family slavery. I'm not sure if that's love or not, but if that's what I was being taught, that I need to serve others to get things, then I got taught wrong. Amen? Amen. So this is a really toxic way to treat children and to look at them. And I think that there needs to be a reaccounting, a redefining of how we value children. The last time we checked in on this system, it was 1955, and we valued the children as sit down and be quiet, don't talk unless talked to. And you'll mean something when you grow up, just not right now. And we're going to treat you as a job, even though we're your parent. We're going to treat you as a miniature slave, even though we are your parent. So that needs, let's reevaluate this stuff. We got to talk about this. So this is why I'm on the porch. This is what I do. We gotta alchemize a new way to do shit around here, because we are one shitball rolling down the hill. America's like the last dung beetle at the shit show. So I'm here to help in a lot of different ways. I'm here to help consciously live, consciously be a mom. And when you're conscious, everything is conscious. Your damn shoelaces tie themselves because they're conscious shoelaces. You get the job done, and you don't just say, I'm in a conscious church, I'm a conscious person. Consciousness is better than COVID. Everybody done caught that shit, and there ain't no stopping the push of Jesus Christ. And that's what consciousness is you living in a higher way. And then we turn around and we do it ourselves. So we cast a new image for our children to follow. No more following this old bullshit. So reevaluating, to me, I am an advocate for children being empowered. And how best can I do that? Doing what I do a little bit at a time, like today. So if I can show you where, even as a parent, you don't have to submit to your kid. Usually when we learn things, we do what we call the pendulum swing. You guys like these hearts? It just, woo, lady. Okay, so we do what we call the pendulum swing. Usually when we're doing bad shit and we're affairing and we're drinking and we're having a fake mask, when your ass gets caught, because I watched this, I had box seats to this shit, so okay, I had box seats. Anyway, when I watched somebody do this, they pendulum swung. So next thing you know, they're up their family's butt, they're in church, they're They're volunteering their time for Habitat as Humanity. They're painting the awnings of the church, trying to wash away, trying to work away the change, right? So we pendulum swing. And when we learn something like to treat children a little bit higher, be more aware of how we're treating these smaller people, they're still human beings. And when we become aware of that, then we might go this way and swing, and it's just relaxed society and let your kids do what you... There needs to be boundaries. I'm all about having a plumb line. I'm a carpenter. Let's have a 0 point when we do this. So I think it's a little bit too tight. Let's release the suppression that we do have on children and their voices and what they mean and how important they are. And they have a perspective that you and I just don't have anymore. It's called innocence, and they don't judge people. Have you seen kids play in a playground? They are not sitting there talking about race. They're not sitting there talking about handicaps and not looking at people because they're ugly or pretty. Kids just are happy that you're there to give them light and love, and we need to kind of learn from that. So kids are really important, and they deserve to be at the table of humanity, not scooted in a high chair and pushed off in the other room as a job. Kids are very important. God put them here, and they never go away. Have you noticed that? There's been kids for millennia, 50 years of children. There's always children, always children. We never grow out of that, and we never stop having literal children here on the earth. They don't go extinct. We always have a class of children here forever. And it's time that I think that we blaze a trail that says, let's recognize what one thing we could do is honor your kids' boundaries. Honor their boundaries. And that I'm sure, because if I was a kid and my mother would honor my boundary lines, and they weren't that bad, I just had some. It'd be nice to be treated like an average person. Equality is nice. So that give and take is really important for my kids to learn it right here in my house. This is how relationships, healthy ones, work out. This is how you behave in them. So speaking of boundary lines, let's go back to my 9-year-old son who keeps teaching me more than I'm teaching him. He got a $100 and some car for his birthday, and the thing is ATV, and it's got a remote control, and it goes through water and rock, and it's amazing. He took it to the ball field where my other son was playing his game. So there's my son, 9 years old, driving around this really sweet, jacked up 4x4 truck, that's hauling ass through the little concession stand parking lot. Literally had a herd of younger children just chasing this truck around. It was hilarious. Now, some of the kids were trying to pick it up and put it down, and that's ruining the gears, and my young son knows that. Another kid came along and kicked it. Now, Jackson, oops, I dropped his name. Jackson comes to me. I tried not to. Name dropping. So Jackson comes to me with the car, and he's all upset. And he's like, Mom, these kids keep disrespecting my toy, basically. He didn't really say that. That's a gist. And I said, okay, look, if you need me to say something, I will. But how about you say something? You tell them to respect your stuff, or you're going to go get your mama. Okay? Try that. Because if it don't work for you, I will put you on my shoulders, and we'll come back out here together, right? So he leaves, and it's within earshot. All I got to do is look through the chain link fence, and I can see him being victorious at a place where even adults can't speak for themselves. There are adults who get cut in a line, and you won't say nothing because you're afraid of confrontation. You won't say nothing, but you're pissed. You're mumbling between the bags in your wallet, and you're looking behind the person behind you to get confirmation that you just got screwed out of your place in line. But yeah, you didn't say anything because there's grown adults who can't even do what my young son just did at the ballpark. And I listened to him speak up for his toy. Hey, I got this for my birthday. I don't appreciate you kicking it. You kick it again, I'm going to tell my mom. Ooh, don't get the mamas involved. That's like a 9-year-old cuss word. I'll get my mom. So anyway, they respected his toy, and he was able to play with it. And then coming back to me about 40 minutes later, recanting that and telling me, they left it alone. I'm proud of you. That's what it is, bud. Speaking for yourself. Don't be afraid to do that. What was going to happen? You're going to get a spanking? Those kids going to dunk you in Kool-Aid? I mean, what was going to happen there? Nothing but you getting what you need and what you deserve and what you want. Amen. So rather than swimming, don't let your other children start toxically telling your other children that, hey, come on, let's push and shove. Tell your other kids to hold up. They've got boundaries, and it's your job to respect those boundaries. Boom. Everybody wins. Right? So even as an adult, I'm still finding this difficult, putting those boundaries in your life. And then once you do, speaking for them. You are the alarm. Wah, wah, something's off. What are you doing? You're encroaching on my boundary line. So have them and teach your kids to have them. And not only that, respect the ones that your kids have. Okay? Mwah. I hope that helps. It's good mana today. Vroom, vroom goes the two-cycled oil. Love you guys, and I'll see you in a bit. And like I say, stay kind and stay out of your mind. You like the hearts? They pretty.